Welcome to the Transformational Coach podcast with me, Rhona Barton, giving you competence with confidence. Welcome everybody, I'm back with another episode of the Transformational Coach podcast, helping to bring you some competence with your confidence. This week we're thinking all about the value of fun. It's part of our life balance and self-care topic. Last week we dipped into self-care. The week before we were looking at finding balance. We still have to consider living your values and setting boundaries. So they'll be coming up over the next couple of weeks. This week, however, as I've said, it's all about the value of fun. And I have a bit of a simple question for you to start today. What makes you laugh? Is there something in particular that always gets you giggling? Have you got a particular penchant for something that really tickles your funny bone, and once you get a good laugh going, you've struggled to stop? If you haven't had that good sort of belly laugh for a while, why not? What's been stopping you? I know that certainly over recent weeks and months, social media, online news, it's been a bit negative, quite down. Obviously, there's a global pandemic going on. These things are hardly laughable moments. However, I do like to try and find a little bit of positivity, a little bit of hilarity each day. So think about what you used to absolutely adore doing when you were younger, what you are very passionate about. And is there a way that you could start to incorporate some of that particular fun into your own life now? You know, it's easy to get caught up in the negativity. It can be reinforced. People feel their mood is quite low, they feel quite down, and just trying to get a smile out of somebody sometimes can be quite a challenge. However, if there isn't anybody in your social media newsfeed posting fun or positive comments and content, then how do you go about lifting your own mood and being the positive in somebody else's life? I like to think to, the kids that are going through school at this moment in time. There's so much that we've said to them they can't do. They can't socialise in large groups. They can't hug each other. They can't hold hands and run around the playground, for example. And it makes me wonder, what exactly are we teaching them? How will they be as adults? And I always think it's a good thing to look at positive people, positive behaviours, positive attributes, and encourage children to mimic those, to emulate those, to aim for them, so that they do know what it's like to have a good old belly laugh with friends and with family. And to know at the same time that if they are feeling down, if they are feeling sad, if things are getting on top of them, that they can talk to people about it, but also that there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for them. I know in the past some people have said to me that, my positive look, the way I'm always trying to see the silver lining, seems a little childish. Well, for me, I don't see it as that. To me, childish means, silly or immature, something that absolutely a child would do, how they would react. But for me, it's more childlike, if you like. It's looking at the good qualities, looking at things with perhaps the innocence associated with a child, but in a way that shows there is possibility. Because I do believe that hope is one of the last things to die in all of us. I've said that before on here. Hope is one of my core values anyway. So I don't see anything wrong with that. And fun can be a core value. I'm talking about the value of fun here and how it can lift your mood and it can help your spirits, certainly in these trying times. But how could you introduce, if you like, more fun in your work life? What about livening up your commute to work? And I don't know if people are still commuting to a physical office or workspace, or if you are working from home at the moment. But, there's sometimes trips into town could last half an hour, longer. And quite often I'll see people, I remember doing a trip in London, and everybody on, the London Underground had earphones in, or were playing games on their phone, or were hiding behind a newspaper, staring at people's shoes. Nobody wanted to make eye contact or chat. They just wanted to sort of zone out. Some of them were even sleeping. I don't know how they remembered to wake up at the right stop, but they obviously do it often, so it worked for them. But I don't necessarily want to have my head stuck in my telephone on a commute into work. I want to look out of the window. I want to see the countryside. I don't necessarily want to sit in traffic with everybody else, but I don't mind looking about the subway train and making eye contact with somebody and just sharing a smile for the day. How could you negotiate your meeting times or the agendas for those that can really take up a lot of time in your day, but you would like them to be filled with a little more fun, a little more interest, a little more engagement? So perhaps, any telephone calls or meetings you have for new businesses could last, say, half an hour. And then your normal everyday check-ins, perhaps they could last 10 or 15 minutes each, with everything else just happening over email. Why do we need meetings that last for an hour or even longer at the moment? Are we not clear on agendas? You want to claim back some of your time in your day so you can take your lunch break. You can go and take an afternoon or a morning coffee break and feel fine about doing that. One thing to keep in mind, you can always quit your job. If you're not enjoying it, it's not fulfilling you, and obviously dependent on your priorities in life, it's okay to say, no thank you, this isn't for me now. I realise that's quite, or could be seen as quite a controversial thing to say in 2020, in the middle of a global pandemic, when people are being made redundant, when jobs are being lost through no fault of the individuals. But perhaps losing your job or deciding to leave your job is opening up new possibilities for you. It's giving you a chance to evaluate where you are now and where you want to be, and take stock of your own values and look at where you want to find more balance in your life. Hint, hint, it's part of our topic. And where you want to be able to claim back some of the fun that you may feel you've lost. So think about what makes you laugh. Think about what you absolutely got absorbed in when you were younger, what you were passionate about. And think about small changes you can make in your everyday life to help reintroduce fun on a daily basis. Work doesn't have to be boring. Personal life doesn't have to be boring, but it doesn't have to be all dress down Fridays and fancy dress days. Think about ways that could work for you. Why not discuss it with your boss, discuss it with other members in your team, and think about getting a bit creative with things. Let's all try and add a little bit more fun to our lives, especially in the current circumstances. Send me a message via my social media. Let me know what you're doing to introduce a bit of fun into your days, and I'll be back to speak to you next week about setting boundaries. In the meantime, look after yourselves, take care of each other, and please stay safe. Bye for now.